Hey everyone, for those of you that missed our regular episode this week, first off, go back and listen to it. It's delightful. But maybe you have no idea what the DCAU is or who the hell Bruce Timm is, and maybe you just saw Shazam and wanted to hear a couple of nerds talking about it on a podcast. Well, don't worry, we have you covered. Regardless of how you found your way here, quick note on this episode. Originally, we recorded it as part of our regular episode, but the whole thing ran a bit long, so we decided to split our Shazam discussion into its own podcast, which is why we jump straight into the conversation without any introduction. This is a full-on spoiler discussion, so hopefully you've already seen the movie and enjoyed it. We did. But be sure to catch our regular episode on Tuesdays, and that's all about the DCEU. And stay tuned for episodes on all the major comic book blockbusters this summer, including Avengers Endgame, which is merely weeks away, and we cannot wait. But thanks for listening, and enjoy.
Before we start, without looking at your computer, look at me right now. What does Shazam stand for?
Solomon, Hercules, Apollo, Zeus, Archimedes, Athena, Aristotle.
Nailed it.
Last one's Mercury. I don't know the A's,
Yes.
but I know everybody else.
Atlas and Achilles.
Oh,
Because
damn it.
I was wrong in the theater
Okay.
when I thought it was Athena.
Okay. It's Atlas and Achilles.
Yes. Yeah, so the wisdom of Solomon, the
strength of Hercules?
The strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So,
I'm glad I can finally remember that offhand.
very proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done. How much did you know about Shazam going into Shazam?
Not a lot. Clearly not as much as the other DC heroes.
Yeah.
But I mean, a decent amount. I knew about. We're gonna go straight into spoilers.
Yeah.
I knew about the Shazamly, which is getting easier to say. It's very difficult.
It's a very
for us when
hard
it
word to
first
say.
came out.
Yeah.
I knew about the powers. I knew about mostly I knew him from Injustice. Weirdly enough. Injustice and Flashpoint.
game?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The game and then Flashpoint were my two main sources of knowledge of him.
Okay. So, because I knew him from his single appearance in the DCAU, from Young Justice,
Yes, same.
and then
Public Enemies, right? Is that the one with Shazam?
the film and the comic too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's in that. And then I also knew him from Kingdom Come.
I was about to say Kingdom Come, yeah.
You've read that, right?
Yes, but I don't remember anything about it.
It's when Superman has the red and black S, and Batman's has that
I know
external
it's
bodysuit.
it's the one all the art's all done by Alex Ross.
Yeah, and Spectre is leading this pastor through the course of the story.
Yes, okay. Because someone kills someone in the beginning,
There,
and that's what causes the rift, right? Am I thinking of the same story?
So in the past, Magog, who's a hero, kills the Joker after he sets off a Joker gas in the Daily Planet, killing Lois, Jimmy, Perry, everybody.
Okay.
And Superman goes to apprehend him, and Gog, was it Gog or Magog? I can't remember. I think Magog kills the Joker, and after that, and he gets away with it. He's not held accountable for it, and then Superman goes away.
Right.
And then
okay.
now it's
okay.
like 20 or something years in the future, and so the second, third generations of supervillains and superheroes are all kind of running amok, and like there's no real order. It's just kind of perpetual chaos. And then, it's kind of like the beginning of Civil War too, where like basically like a character detonates and like wipes out a bunch of like farmland or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great comic though. I think it's one of the best.
Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. I don't think I ever finished it then, because I remember up to that point,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what happens after
They
that.
build a gulag.
All right, then don't tell me, because I don't know anymore.
Okay, yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's on my shelf. You should take it.
I own it,
No, then fucking read it.
but it looks so good on my shelf.
You can still read it.
I don't think those things are removable.
Well, yeah, because you glue them into your.
I grew them because of color palettes.
Oh god damn it.
I have a really nice gradient of books.
You would.
I do have a friend. It's such an infuriating organization method because it's not. Who organizes her shelf by color of spine?
Oh hell no.
It looks so pretty though.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah,
But no.
I know. Never.
Oh my god. I'm just trying to like.
Keep it down.
It's
Keep
like
it down.
it's like giving me a panic attack just thinking about it.
It looks so pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, so quick rundown of Shazam. Savannah gets brought to the Wizard Shazam, is denied his power, spends his life trying to get back, unlocks the horribly done 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes.
Billy comes, gets the powers, acts like a prick.
Yep.
Loses a fight, loses another fight, loses a third fight, figures out that family is the ultimate superpower, wins the end.
Yes. Pretty much.
And then Superman shows up.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get to that. Like,
As I've been telling people, this movie has an amazing 40-minute stint from when Billy gets his power to the end of the first fight with Savannah.
I would
It's
agree
an
with that.
amazing movie.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think.
And then once the other kids get their powers, once the
Yes.
family,
Yes. When the Marvel family shows up on screen, for me, that was the biggest highlight. I
Yes.
vaguely knew that was going to happen for just random things you see here and there. But when it actually happened, I wasn't expecting it to. And that scene is amazing.
yes,
When they're all there. Plus, great cameos. So Adam Brody
Yes.
is in there playing the hero version of Freddy. So he's got the speed of Mercury. And then
who was
this other-
supposed to be? Sorry.
So he was supposed to Flash, Justice League Mortals, and then this other actor, DJ Cortana, or Cortana, whatever, is the superpowered version of Eugene. I want to say
the
green one.
Hispanic one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Green, and I forget what his power was. Maybe it was just
He was
strength.
he was Strength of Hercules.
Okay, yeah. And he was supposed to play Superman in Justice League Mortals. That was kind of fun to see like both of them pop up there.
Mm-hmm.
But just all of those characters were great. And I think this movie is at its most fun when you have the adult actors playing kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when the personalities come through the most. I'd say when it's the extended Shazam, the whole Marvel family, a lot of those are done really well. I think Zachary Levi is fantastic in this movie.
He's so charming.
He's so charming. He's so much fun. Also, he is playing a completely different character than the teenage version of Billy Batson.
Yes.
Like, completely different.
Yeah, because teenage Batson's just a fucking asshole.
He
Through
is
and through.
Yeah, and I get the idea of him having to like be a bit of an asshole, so he like softens up and appreciates family, and he has his arc to go on. But whenever he becomes superpowered, his whole personality just shifts, and all of a sudden he's like fun and whimsical and energetic. And then when he's a teenager, he's just like somber and morose and bitter all the time. And you feel like if they're gonna do that sort of thing, of showing like, oh, this is who he would be if he didn't feel like he had to put on an act, that would have worked. But we never get a scene where he shows that sort of like fun, vulnerable, energetic side, and we see him suppress it. He just starts to act in that way as soon as he gets powers.
Yeah.
But it's also for the best because Zachary Levi is amazing.
There's one scene that I wish we would have had because we see him use all of his powers except wisdom, and that's been kind of a joke in the community right now. Is if he was smart, he would have known better than all the shit that he was doing.
Yeah.
So I'd just loved a moment where like he has to do homework and he has to call on the power of Shazam.
Oh,
to
and he
answer
gets
all
like
the
and just like
questions.
burn through it real fast because
Yeah.
he gets it all. That would actually be kind of fun.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's even the joke of like I was testing because he's like, we're going to test invisibility. We're also going to test a secret test of super intelligence,
Yeah.
which was a very fun little bit. This movie felt like they understood Marvel comedy and just put it in a DC film.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, yeah, when Shazam is actually Shazam, it definitely strikes that tone of being self-aware and fun and light and energetic.
Yeah, this felt more like a Marvel movie than a DC film.
It did. Well, it did when Zachary Levi's on screen.
Yes.
But when he's not, you definitely get that sense of they still felt like they had to fit into the Snyder aesthetic. It's definitely brighter and more energetic than the rest of them.
The villains are very Snyder-esque.
The villains are very Snyder-esque, but even just you think about what the settings they chose. They chose to have this movie happen in Philadelphia in the winter.
At Christmas.
At Christmas time. But like it's not bright Christmas. It's just really gray and like overcast all the time. So it has that sort of sense of aesthetic to it. And I mean, I guess that was done to try and differentiate a little bit, or maybe to try and make Billy's circumstances seem a bit more dire. But I honestly would have much preferred if this was set in like a sunny city. Like I kind of wish they had really stuck with the more upbeat tone all the way through, rather than just having it be that way when they wanted it to be.
Yeah, because Shazam is not a Philadelphia hero.
Yeah, where's he
He's from
normally?
a fictional city, whatever the high school was called. I don't remember the name of it. That's the name of the city.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it would have been more fun if the world was a bit more fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they had to do this because also his backstory is much more somber than some versions, at least.
Yeah.
Because in this version, he...
Somber, but also probably the most painful. Because it's the one it's kind of the most real.
No,
Of like,
it is.
his parents aren't dead. They just don't want him.
Yeah.
Like that fucking hits.
I found a lot of stuff actually pretty emotionally affecting because, yeah, the difference here is that as a young child, he gets separated from his mom at like a carnival, and then she never comes looking for him. So he's been bouncing around from like foster family to foster family,
Trying to find her.
constantly running away to go try and
Also
track
blaming
her down.
himself for it.
Yeah,
Well,
he's-
on top, like that, I think that's the biggest emotional pull is he blames himself for running away from his mom.
Yeah.
So it is his responsibility to get back to her.
Yeah, and then when he actually does finally find her, and she still doesn't want him, that scene actually did work well for me. And I thought that the kid is a good actor. He was just playing a very different character.
Yeah. Have you seen the photos of them in the premiere?
Oh yeah,
Where the joke is like they're gonna have to start filming that sequel now because the teenage version is like almost as tall as Zach Levi already.
yeah, which it's true.
Yeah.
he is pretty tall, and they definitely aged him up a little bit. I think in the comics he's usually like 10.
Yeah, he's 13 here. No,
Yeah.
he's 15. So he's 15.
Yeah, which I guess I get why they had to do that. Again, I think they had to like make him. They had to give him an arc, and in doing so, they had to have something
Yeah.
challenging happening for him, rather than just making him plucky.
Yeah. So this is almost page for page taken from New 52 Shazam. I don't know if you saw that.
I did read that. Yeah, I've never read any of the new 52 Shazam.
Same. But yeah, almost shot for shot taken, except in the New 52 Shazam, Black Adam is the villain, not Savannah.
Do you feel like the first version of this script had Black Adam and they just swapped out the name of the villain and changed a few things and ran with it rather than rewriting it completely?
Their powers are so similar. I don't think they ever expected Black Adam to be the first villain because that's something you kind of work up to.
I think they did.
You think so?
I absolutely think they did. I mean, because Dwayne Johnson was cast as Black Adam years ago.
Right. But it's
And-
always been expected it's going to be a solo film
No.
first. No?
No. When this was like originally being talked about, he was going to be the villain in Shazam.
Okay.
Because I did some research on Dr. Savannah, because I've seen him pop up in a few places here and there. And I, in general, love Mark Strong as an actor, but I felt like that character just was not very interesting for me. But
It's the opposite from Green Lantern, where he was the best part of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Now he's like the mediocre part of
he's
this
mediocre, and he's always great. I think he's a fantastic.
His acting is great. Just the character is just
The character's just really generic, and in the comics, Savannah is a scientist, and he's always a scientist. And what's special is that in his, I think it's his left eye, or it's whatever his eye, one of the two eyes. I think it's his left eye in the
just right eye.
comics, but I think in the comics might be his left eye. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
He can see magic, whereas they changed that here, where that's where he possesses the 7 deadly sins. I don't know if that was ever a Captain Marvel Shazam arc with the 7 deadly sins.
So that's kind of the thing I want to talk about with New 52. And one of the big things, my biggest complaint is the look of the 7 deadly sins. They're ugly. They're you can't tell them apart.
No.
Even watching it a second time and trying to remember, like, okay, forearms, that's greed because he wants to hold stuff.
Yeah.
Gluttony is the easy one because it's a giant mouth. I'm like, I don't remember any of the other ones.
They all kind of look like the ghosts from the Ghostbusters reboot.
Yes, and that's exactly what Mr. Sunday Movie said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the New 52 run, instead of being in his eye, the 7 deadly sins possess humans. So there's
okay.
7 distinct looking humans, which I think it'd be a lot of characters. But I think that would have helped so much more.
I definitely
Where
think
you can put a personality behind those things.
it definitely would have made it more interesting. I mean, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm rewatching Infinity War right now, and like I can barely remember the names of the 4 acolytes of Thanos, but they each have a distinct visual style and personality.
Squidward.
Yes.
It's
It's like Corvus Glaive, like Obsidian
Justice.
something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember their names, but I can like differentiate.
I remember
all
the
of
girl
them.
had a cool name. I don't remember it anymore, but I remember it was really cool.
I was like Maximus something. I can't remember, but like they had distinct look, distinct personalities. You know, you could have done something like that here, and like the personalities of 7 Deadly Sins are right there in their names.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we don't even have to know their real name. Like, you just need a human host.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they decide to still go with like just the monster look,
Proxima Midnight. That was her name.
that's a great name.
Yeah,
See,
like that's
right?
the coolest one.
Like cool name, even if it's kind of forgettable
yeah,
sometimes.
Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw, and Supergiant.
Obsidian, isn't it like Obsidian something?
Oh, sorry, this might be the comic versions.
Okay. Yeah, I think there needed to be more personality. There need to be more personality in the non-Shazamly characters.
Yeah.
I think.
But I get it because that's already a lot of characters. Because we don't really spend a lot of time with the parents.
No.
You have to give an origin story and backstory to the main character, to Billy.
Yeah.
You have to give enough characteristics to the brother, roommate, Eddie? Freddie.
Yeah. I liked him. I was worried he's gonna be annoying based on the trailers. I thought he was actually really good in this.
Me too.
Yeah. Is that actor actually
I don't think so.
disabled? I'm gonna look this up.
And then you have the 4 other siblings. So
Mary, Darla, Eugene.
Yep. And then
I have it open.
I don't want to say it. No. The
Hang on.
Hispanic one.
Okay, we have Freddie. Is Rosa the mom?
Yes.
Okay, so Freddie, Mary, Darla, Eugene. And, oh my god, this is like the layout of the cast is so weird on this page. Darla, Eugene, Pedro.
Pedro. Okay.
Pedro, yeah. I thought all the kids were really good.
Yeah. Pedro doesn't talk. I think that was the joke we made last time, where he's almost like an actor that doesn't want to be on camera.
Oh,
where anytime
yeah.
he's in a shot, it almost feels like he's trying to walk off the side of the shot.
But I mean, that becomes his personality though, which makes it kind of fun. Like,
Yeah.
Again, all the kids felt distinct.
Yes.
I mean, I think you make a good point about they had so many other characters set up already.
It would be hard if we had all of the 7 deadly sins on top of that.
Yeah, so you got
I
like
feel very cluttered.
yeah, the 6 members of the Shazamly. You have Dr. Savannah. You have the parents.
You have Savannah's family.
Yeah.
Lionel Luthor and his brother.
John Glover making a cameo appearance. Always welcome. I mean, how did you feel about
Desmond Hansu.
Oh yeah, Jamon Hans.
I say Desmond.
I think it's Jamon.
Probably.
Whatever. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I love him in everything. Again, one of the actors that crossover between the DCEU,
Yeah.
or the DCU and the
MCU.
MCU. Yeah, I thought he was great as the Wizard. So
Because I don't think I remember him being the wizard in the trailer. I guess I just forgot in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I was very taken back.
oh really?
I was like, I know that voice.
He's a wizard. He's got an amazing voice.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of characters set up, so it would have been hard to do more. But I think
And then the caterpillar at the end.
the fucking caterpillar. We'll get to that. But I feel like if this had been Black Adam, this would have been a better film.
Okay.
I think because Dr. Savannah in the comics is always a scientist, he never has those kind of powers. I think they had to give him powers in this to make him a viable threat. And especially if they were going to always expand out to the whole Shazam, which is a move I'm glad they did because that's the best scene in the whole thing.
Yes.
But then you have to have a character who has power to match. And I think that's why they just swapped in Dr. Zavanna and just gave him powers. And I think if it had been Black Adam, it would have been better. I think he would have come across as a greater threat. I think that character also being played by Dwayne Johnson would have had a bit more personality. There is some worry that with him now, he would have like stolen the spotlight.
Yes, because that's the point I was going to bring up next is with Dwayne's charisma.
Yeah.
Would they have to play down Zach?
I don't think
in
they would
order
have
to highlight, because I don't think he likes to share the spotlight very much.
I don't think he does. And I think that's part of the problem. I think
Unless it's with Kevin Hart. But even then, he's always playing. Kevin Hart's always playing the negative one.
Yeah, he's always playing like the second fiddle.
Yeah.
And
no matter what, The Rock has to be the most charming one on screen.
And I think that's where
Even when Nick Jonas was there, Dwayne had to be more charming than Nick Jonas.
You can try it. Well, also the most charming character in that movie was Jack Black playing a teenage girl.
That's very true.
Hands down. Plus, Karen Gillan is effortlessly charming all the time. But anywho, I think you wouldn't have had to play down Zach Levi. I think the problem is vying for screen time. And I think when Dwayne Johnson was originally cast in that role, he could still be a supporting character.
Because this was back at Fast 5 when they named him.
It was like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
pretty much at this point that happened. And I think now his star has risen so much that he can't do that really. Whether that's coming from him or if that's more of a studio thing of him being this huge name, whatever the result is, whatever the intent is, the end result is he dominates the screen.
Yes.
And he would dominate the screen time. And I think that's where it becomes a challenge. I think you could have that villain still be Black Adam. And personally, I would love to see it be Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam and have it be a supporting character. Like, we got enough screen time with Savannah to know what he was up to. I just wasn't very interested in it.
Right.
But imagine like more or less the same amount of screen time, maybe like a little bit more time to set up that character. I think everything would have been elevated by that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess at that point, I don't know what you do with Black Adam. 'Cause you can't just like throw him in prison. You'd have to like.
Yeah.
again-
Imprison him somewhere else.
Yeah, but again, it's like the hero lives long enough to become a villain, other way around.
Yeah, villain becomes long enough to become a hero.
Yeah, it's like he should just be a villain. I don't know what his motivation would be necessarily.
I mean, there's probably some cell on the Shazam, that rock, the magic rock. Because I mean, we saw like there was all those doors to other dimensions.
Yeah.
There's a mirror.
Oh, that's a thing. I forgot about that. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a lot more stuff than just the throne room.
Yeah.
There's some mirror in there that's supposed to be another character that I don't know anything about, but I'm sure someone knows what I'm talking about.
Someone not us.
Yeah. Shazam is just like, I mean, he's been around forever. Like, this is a long-running character. I think he was written in, like, 49,
40s.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around forever. Because he started off as a Wiz comic character.
Yes.
And, yeah, he's been
I
around
think,
since.
30 died.
39?
Excuse me, yeah.
Holy shit. So
The
he's
thing-
as old as Wonder Woman, then.
And Batman.
Yeah.
Because Superman was 38. Batman was 39.
Yes. I thought Superman was 31.
38.
Okay.
38.
What's 31 then?
The fuck if I know?
It's just not Action Comics. I'll look this up, hold on.
I know for a fact Superman was created in 1938 because in my AP U.S. history
you're
class,
You're right. I'm sorry.
our teacher, who is a walking encyclopedia, would just sit on his desk and literally just talk history. Good old Mr. Rudolph, one of my favorite teachers of all time. But at one point, he made reference to the 1920s radio plays, like, oh yeah, like all these like pop characters like Superman, and me at 17 years old was not willing to like raise my hand and go, actually, Superman wasn't created until 1938, so he couldn't have been on the radio in 20s. I wasn't gonna do that, but I wanted to.
Okay, then who the fuck was 31?
I don't know.
Dick Tracy?
Maybe, but
I don't know. Sorry, we'll go on something.
yeah. So I think I don't know. Just for me, Savannah was kind of boring. I think it would have been more interesting as Black Adam.
There's 2 moments in this film that feel so out of place. But this movie's fairly lighthearted.
Yeah.
Everything's fun. And then there's 2 moments that are just like are nightmare fuel for children.
Which are?
When Savannah first figures out the door and the other doctor touches the door and disintegrates.
Like dissolves.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Do you think modern kids have the fear of disintegration that we all had of quicksand in the 90s?
At this point, yes.
Because there's so much, because that's like the great go-to way of showing, oh, this character died, but like not any sort of like realistic, gruesome way. Mm-hmm. People disintegrating left and right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Turning into quicksand.
To terrify us.
Yes. So that one, and then when
damn you, Gen Z.
When Wizard Shazam gives Zachary Levi the powers, he also turns to dust.
Oh yeah.
And both are there's so much detail in the, because it's not just their whole body turns to dust. They go layer by layer.
Yeah.
So it starts with the outer, and then you just see a skull in dust, and the skull starts to disintegrate. I'm like, why did you need that much detail in this terrifying image?
Well, you gotta put that VFX budget somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say this movie, for the most part, looked pretty good.
Looked great. Yeah.
Again, except for the weird snowscape that I just didn't think worked.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a philosophic question?
Please.
For a minute? Because it's been on my mind for such a long time.
Okay.
And I've devoted so much brain power to this that it's not necessary.
All right.
How do things fly?
We don't have time to get into this. That's a whole episode in of itself, is trying to break down how characters
I'm
fly.
not going to lie. I spent almost an entire workday this week figuring out 2 paths of flight for humans. And it basically comes down to, I'll just give this little TLDR. It comes down to how you believe air works in these worlds. So if you're in the air, are you more like a bird or are you more like a fish? Is there air buoyancy, or is there still gravity on you where you have to continue to propel yourself through the substance?
I see what you mean.
Yes.
Ooh.
Because flying like Superman doesn't work. No human movement mimics that stance. And I think that's another thing with Shazam, where he's always trying to mimic the Superman 2 fists in the air, or 1 fist down and 1 fist at your side, or 1 fist up. And the same thing I had with Captain Marvel. That's not how humans move in any sense. No one jumps that way. Well, no one swims that way.
So at least with Captain Marvel, we know that she's being propelled.
Yes. Yeah, she's being propelled through energy from her feet.
Yes, and I think any other flying characters in the MCU are telekinetic, or are being propelled by thrusters.
Okay.
So I think in the MCU at least, everyone has some means of propulsion.
Yes.
Or elevation. Not elevation, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how Shazam flies.
Because I would imagine if air is
he flies like Peter Pan. I think it's a Peter Pan thing.
Yes.
Because this movie has the same shot as Hook, where like he's falling, and then it's like right before he hits the ground, he like just stops dead and he just floats right there.
Yes.
So I think we're just gonna assume that he has magic that negates the effect of gravity.
Okay, so then wouldn't he move more like a dolphin through the air? Because that's how you would continue to propel yourself through a.
So he should be like waving his legs back and forth. Like
I would imagine that would be the most aerodynamic way to move through air, because that's the fastest way we as mammals know how to move through water, and it would mimic that style.
I'm gonna assume that magic also propels him.
Sure.
Because that's the thing is like he's a magic-based character.
Yes.
So you can just write off anything he does as magic. Superman is very problematic. So like, how is this happening?
Right. He kind of just jumps faster than the force of gravity.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And he keeps a nice smooth face for aerodynamic purposes. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I'd love to do a proper episode all about the dynamics of flying.
Yes. Because I spent 6 hours this week
Nothing about that surprises me.
just trying to figure out an answer to this. And that's kind of what I came up with my two schools of fish or bird.
Also, I mean, I like your general thinking on this, but also I love that you just acknowledge you spent 6 hours thinking about this, and you thought you would try and squeeze a discussion into the podcast.
Yes.
This podcast already runs way too long.
Yes.
Every week.
Yes.
God damn it, Cameron.
And we did. That was
Who's
only,
the real
only
villain of the
4
podcast
minutes.
now?
It wasn't really a discussion. It was me just wanting to put my points forward of the research, not research, of the thinking that I had done.
Well done. Can we talk about the very bizarre connective tissue that this film has with the rest of the DCEU?
Let's do it.
And the fact that clearly they didn't get the memo that that universe is dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was filmed probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 2 years ago. They probably filmed this.
Yes, but it's definitely weird because this is a world where all the other heroes exist.
And are advertised like crazy.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, like there's toys of them. Also, did you catch the great cameo?
Superman?
Speaking of toys, no. So I would have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure when Shazam is trying to escape from Dr. Savant in the Toy Story, he throws the Batman doll. I'm pretty sure that's Kevin Conroy.
It is.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The one true Batman.
Because there's also, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew it was a big reference, but I didn't understand why. But it's the same, it's the kid turning into an adult joke.
And big.
Yeah.
With a piano.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I caught that. I didn't make the connection that it's the same plot of Big.
Yes.
I just saw the piano and I'm like, why are they making a Big reference?
Yes, at the end of this movie, Billy sleeps with an adult woman.
Yes. I mean, he tries. There's definitely moments where
he hits on...
Yeah, he hits on a couple women.
But also, I mean, okay, this is actually something worth acknowledging.
Okay.
That both of the quote-unquote Captain Marvel movies do not have a romantic subplot. Mm-hmm. Which is awesome.
Yeah, because Shazam is a story where there's a villain, but there's no pressure on the protagonist except the one he puts on himself.
Okay.
There's no like bully. Except
for the really generic bullies. Who hits crippled kids?
And then blames them.
Yeah, like this,
especially today.
I think this is maybe part of the reason the Joker trailer set me off was that scene actively aggravated me in Shazam when I watched it.
That's something you would see in like a 2004 movie.
Yeah, like that's exactly it. Felt very dated. It's like these two bullies hit Freddy with their car and then get out and start beating him up.
Yeah.
And you're like, this doesn't happen.
Right.
Like,
we are way too PC in our culture now for this to ever be okay.
But it's like, that doesn't even happen in movies anymore. Like, that is the tropiest of tropes thrown in there. I mean, I get it's a movie, but that scene in particular just really pulled me out of the whole story, being like, this shit doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember years ago reading something, and I'm sure I've made this reference before, but it was talking about Spider-Man 3. And it said there's a difference between impossibility and improbability. Mm-hmm. We are totally fine believing in a movie that this guy has spider powers, right? But we have a hard time believing that this same guy
can dress in all black and still be cool.
Yes, that too. But it's like in Spider-Man 3, it's everything's a coincidence. It's like, oh, the guy who may have actually killed his uncle falls into an accelerator and becomes a sand monster. Also, this asteroid happens to land next to the one person on the planet who has superpowers, right? It's the improbability of things that really bother us. Mm-hmm. That sort of like this sort of stuff doesn't happen. And that for me was just that moment of like, I'm sorry, but people don't beat up on disabled kids.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fucking happen. Mm-hmm. And if it does, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Like, these kids would have been blasted out because we know the internet exists. They're on YouTube.
Those kids would have been expelled. Like, if that happened in the real world, like, we would hear about it.
Because
like,
you see everyone's filming it.
Yeah. Like, if that happened in the real world, in some high school in Philadelphia, we would hear about it in Los Angeles.
Yes.
It would get back to us.
Within a day.
Yeah. Like, that's how fast this sort of shit spreads. Like, those kids would be fucking expelled. They would probably be, like, criminal charges against them. Mm-hmm. Like, that stuff goes viral so quickly that those kids' lives would be ruined after this happened.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening?
Yeah. So the point I was going for was there's no minor antagonist because the protagonist sees himself as that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
Everyone is, minus those two bullies, everyone is good to him. He just refuses to accept the good until the end.
yeah. And that arc worked for me, even if I didn't love it necessarily. Like, I like he becomes part of the family and he like sticks his hand at the end. It's like, yay, we're a family.
We're a family.
We're a family. I mean, I think all of that.
I did like the kind of the through line that the mom says that a home is not a home until you call it a home.
Yeah.
I like that.
I did
like
that
a lot.
Yeah. Because I think in older versions of the comics, I want to say he lives like with his uncle or something like that. Like, I think that's the
So
same.
that's a different version of the story.
Yeah, like I think the version that we see in Young Justice, for example.
Yeah, it's he's with his uncle.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, did his whole backstory work for you?
I mean, most iterations he's an orphan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fine with it. It's kind of I mean, the whole premise is different than anything we've seen.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess that's what I did like about this. At least there were times when it was definitely trying to be something different and fun. But like, talking about like the connective tissue thing. So yeah,
Sorry.
Well, I mean, whatever. We're jumping around, but yeah, at the end of it, there's a Superman cameo. Where
What?
We don't.
Wait,
see,
when did this happen?
We don't see his face
Because there's still a mustache on
because
it.
there's still a mustache on it. Do you feel like they should have kept that?
Yeah, I loved it. I know you hated it. I loved it.
I didn't hate it, but I think it just goes to show what a mess things are over there. At the same time, we're getting reports that all these movies are going to start existing more in standalone spaces. There's no plans to cross them over. The fact that this movie so heavily references Superman and Batman and Aquaman, and that Superman has a cameo, goes against that in a way that just was really confusing to me.
Would you have liked it better if it was Pedro dressed as Superman? That walks in at
because
the
like
end?
because he like the actor once would have been Superman.
Well, and also because he's the bulkiest of the family.
No, I think that would have been dumb too.
Okay.
I don't think you have that there. I don't think you need it at all. I think that works.
Or even he doesn't walk in, but it's them like dressing him up for it. Like they like the cape they found is way too small for him, and so he's just in like this really like shabby, like very much store bought Superman suit, just like a giant buff guy. It's like I don't want to do this,
It's a
guys.
random beefy guy.
He's like, no, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna impress a lot of people. Come on.
It's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
think
like I don't know about this, guys.
because I also rewatched Spider-Man: Homecoming this week, and both those movies have that same plot point of the best friend like sets his mouth off and it's like, oh hey, like Peter Parker or Blake Batson happens to know the superhero, and they're totally gonna come to this thing, and then they don't, and it makes them look super embarrassed.
Yeah. But I don't know why, but I hated, like, that was the lowest part of the film for me, was when Freddy was doing that. I hated that part. It's so frustrating.
It felt like they were trying to inject conflict. Now, I do like sort of the ultimate payoff of that, right? And if Freddy eventually tells him, like, yeah, do I wish I was
Tells
somebody...
me, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
do I wish I was somebody else? Yeah, and I think that is, like, a universal thing. But I think especially coming from a character who's physically handicapped, spoke volumes too. I thought that was a very real, raw moment. And I really liked it. And so I loved in the eventual payoff when he does become a hero and he has all those same powers. Like, you really got that sense of jubilation that he felt as a result
Especially
of
when
it.
he got flight.
Yeah, exactly. When he finally got the thing that he always said he would want. I really liked that. But yeah, it definitely felt at times like they were manufacturing conflict.
Yeah. And that was the biggest part for me. Like, if there was a low point in the movie, that would be it for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, no, I disagree. The lowest point of the movie is the post-credit sting.
The worm or him trying to talk to fish?
Both.
Okay.
I thought the talk to fish thing could have just been in the movie. It was.
But I didn't realize that was in a trailer.
Oh, it wasn't.
There was an international bumper that had
that's
just
right.
that scene.
Yeah, that scene to me didn't really work very well when he's like, "Oh, can you talk to the fish?" and he's wearing the Aquaman shirt.
Yeah.
But no, the scene where Dr. Savannah is in a prison cell, scribbling away, and then a fucking caterpillar comes in and starts talking to him.
Mr. Mind.
I had to look this up.
I think everyone did.
And like, again, then you're doing it wrong. Like, I had never read a single thing with Thanos before going in to see Avengers. I still knew who that was.
Okay, but question to play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think it's better when it's for the nerds or when it's for everyone? My point being, I don't remember which post credit it was, but when we see a case in an MCU film that has Adam Warlock,
Yeah.
because that's something that only fans know. And I don't remember what the cameo was, but it was like some case.
It was Guardians 2.
Okay.
And a Guardians 2, yeah. Whatever.
Because that's something that gets us excited. Like, oh, Adam Warlock is coming. That's awesome. But everyone else is very much like, I don't know what that means.
But I think part of it is when Marvel has done that in the past, when they've teased a character. They've only done it a couple times, really.
The Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver.
Yeah, but we already knew they were coming.
That's true.
Because the next movie, like Sam Jackson, like Nick Fury.
No, when that movie came out, we had no idea they were coming.
Yeah, we did. We already knew Age of Ultron was on its way and that they were going to be in it.
I guess that was the first time seeing them.
Yeah,
okay.
But like we knew those characters were coming. Like when I'm talking about when it was like a genuine reveal, right? So we're talking Nick Fury, we're talking Thanos, Adam Warlock. Although like that was speculation, but like that was one as well. When they've done that, I think those are more well-known characters. Mr. Mind is a particularly obscure character because he's a genius telepathic caterpillar.
Yes.
Who was like part of the Shazam comics way back in the day. But I think when you're already talking about Shazam, a character that is not widely known, any characters you pull from his back, like his history, are going to be obscure. But that one just feels particularly obscure.
I think the best cameo we could have had is you don't even have to put The Rock on screen. You just hear his voice.
Or even
and
just
it's like you think that was magic.
Yeah.
I got something to show you.
Or
then.
even just like something with an Egyptian temple or whatever it is, just to set up that it's Black Adam. Like, especially because we know that's where it's going eventually. So it seems so bizarre to have it be that caterpillar. Like, are they really going to make a movie where the caterpillar and Dr. Savannah team up to do the same thing again?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It's just weird.
So, Egyptian pyramid is. So, what is your background of Black Adam?
I actually don't know anything about Black Adam. I just know something involving Egypt.
Because in this universe, I think they're setting it up where the former hero that Wizard Shazam gave his powers to is Black Adam.
Okay, that might make sense.
Because I think that's what it is in the New 52 story.
Okay.
Is he was the first hero that was tainted by evil.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool. That works.
Yeah.
That works for me. Fine. Do something like that.
So then we have the MCU problem. A villain is the same as the protagonist.
But I mean, that happened to you already.
That's true.
Like,
so let's just do it again.
Yeah, Savannah had the same
But we've never done it with The Rock.
Yeah, like, I mean, if they were going to go that route, at least would have had it be an interesting version.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that if they were always going to have the Marvel family show up too, I think that helps kind of undercut a little bit because the end fight does not literally become a like mano-a-mano battle, but it's all of them working together. I mean, eventually it does, but it's like I think that still would work better.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other like big points on Shazam?
Nope. My favorite joke, the last thing, is when they're both in the sky and like a mile apart.
Oh yeah.
And Savannah starts
Monologuing and he can't hear it.
Yeah. Probably one of the best meta jokes.
That was a really good joke. Like there are definitely some good jokes in here. And I will say this: people ask me like, "Oh, is Shazam good?" Yes.
Yes.
It's good. I'm saying that it's unambitious.
Yes. 40 minutes of it is great.
Yeah. But it's unambitious, and in its lack of ambition, it's just overall just pleasant.
Yes.
It's good. I think by contrast, Aquaman was ambitious but scattershot insane. But no, it's fine. And that's it for Shazam. Thanks for listening. I'm now going to see if I can do the whole outro by myself. If you want to reach out to us, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. We would love to hear your thoughts on Shazam, especially compared to the rest of the DCEU slate that we've got in the last few years. If you want to find me personally, I am at Lordifer on Twitter and Instagram. Cameron is at Cameron.Dexter on Instagram, and that's where you can see all of his cool artwork. And if you want to see his personal stuff, which is mostly just Disney, it's at Cam Dexter _adventures. I think I got that right. I think, maybe. Doesn't matter. Anyways, thanks for listening. Bye.